Hey, 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 everyone. Welcome to the Spiritual View. This is where we discuss, we do not debate, all things spiritual, intuitive, metaphysical, and empowering. I'm Tara Diana, empowerment medium, founder of the Spirit Essence Collective and Spirit Essence by Tara Diana. And I am so excited. I know I'm always excited that you're joining us tonight as part of our Embodied Power series, as well as the Spiritual View. We're doing a combination. We're working smarter, not harder. So, tonight, everyone, we're diving into a conversation that I think is incredibly important because we often put ourselves into boxes in the spiritual world. You're a medium, you're an energy practitioner, you're an intuitive, you're psychic, you're a channel, you're this, you're that. But are we really? Or are these simply the lenses through which we choose to serve? Okay? So, tonight's question is going to be, do mediumship, intuition, and energy work naturally blend together with our title simply reflecting where we place our primary focus? Now, that's a lot. I'm going to go back and repeat that in a second. In other words, are we all working with the same energetic intelligence, just expressing it in a different way? And to help us explore that tonight, I have two wonderful guests joining me. I am so excited. Val McDowell, psychic medium from Scotland, and Harbinder Pooney, energy alchemist, energy practitioner. Thank you both for being here. Val, let's start with you, baby. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how you found your way into this work.
Great. Well, thanks for having me on board. Hi everyone, I'm Val McDowell and I am The Witch is Familiar, so I'm primarily a tarot and oracle card reader. I do some psychic mediumship, I also write and I do art as well.
She does. She does
I
beautiful
do.
art. And
Thank you.
I Val, remember that cat in your card?
Yes.
I need that. I really do want to get that tattooed. I want to get a version of
So
that
cute.
tattooed.
I might do
I
that
love
as well, actually, a great idea.
I know, so cool, right? Okay, and Harbinder, same question for you. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey into energy work.
Oh, okay. Yeah, my name is Harvinder, and I set up a business as in Universal Energetic Alchemy with the help of Tara, coming up with a name too. And I was doing a bit of mediumship as well at first, and then after that I started concentrating on a lot on energy healing because that's where I've chosen. So yeah.
And in fact,
That
I did it the opposite way. So I'm pretty similar to you actually, Herbinder, but I did it the other way around.
This is cool though. This is why I
Yeah,
picked this
yeah.
topic when Monica said to me, "Hey, this is who you're talking to," and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be fun. This
Mm,
is going to be fun." Because one of the things I've noticed over the years is that people often separate mediumship and energy work into like these completely different categories.
right.
I'm a medium, I'm an energy worker. Yet, when I'm working as a medium, I'm reading energy constantly. And I know, just like we said, so many practitioners who receive intuitive information while they're working.
Mhm.
So, again, let me ask both of you, and you guys can just go with the flow here. Um, do you think these modalities are actually more connected than people realize?
I do. I think they're totally connected. Years ago, when I got into this kind of work, I actually certified as a Reiki master, and I did it for about 3 years. But what I found was when I was doing the work, and I really enjoyed it, but what I found was I was picking up other stuff. And I must admit, maybe it's my curious nature or whatever, but I really got into finding out more about that with the guides coming through and spirits and all kinds of physical. I got physical experiences, but also so much downloads in my mind and sort of mediumistic stuff. And so at that point, I decided to kind of park the energy work. I know I can do it, and the girls in Edmonton, they still call me, and I still do it remotely, that kind of thing. But in actual fact, my attention went more down the intuitive side, like the psychic stuff, and especially mediumship. And from time to time, I do work on energy, but not so much. I've kind of moved away. So that's why I'm saying I'm opposite to you, Herbinder. But I think they're related. For me, it's been one and the same. It really is.
I
Oh,
agree.
yeah. Yeah. Same here too. I mean, it's funny. At first, actually, first I was um, when I was growing up as well. I had the intuition and
Hmm.
premonitions and stuff like that. But I never thought that I would be able to do this as well until somebody told me, kind of, and then started developing. And then I was surprising myself as well. I was like, was, did I do that? I sound like Urkel. But anyway, so and I was surprised at how connected I was, and then started realizing a lot of things too. That the energy has the two sides of it. There's the physical side and the spiritual side, right? And then adding on to the universal as well, like the universe itself, right? So, and feeling the energy and just developing it. Well, first as a medium, and then doing just moving the energy and manipulating. I used the word manipulating, and now Tara
Mhm.
started using it too. Yeah, instead of healing, and it just helps me understand what's going on too. Even when we were in Sedona, it was so surprising. I was in the vortex and I didn't feel anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in the vortex and I didn't feel there. Well, I mean, there was countless. I think every step we took, we were in a different vortex in
Yeah,
Sedona.
yeah,
But there
yeah.
were many of them that I didn't get the same reaction, if any reaction at all, that other people were getting. So I hear you on that one. Hi, Maria. Um, so I understand that completely. Here's an interesting thing from my point of view. I have always been a medium. Like, I just have always been a medium, and that is my jam. But and I've been doing this a long time now,
Hmm.
like a long time. So interestingly, as I'm listening to you guys talk, it made me think about how do I do the energy work, and this came up for me, and let me know what you guys think, you know, what your thoughts are. But I realized something um, that I did was that all of a sudden I was in my mediumship role. And maybe a couple of years into it, and then I suddenly felt like I was supposed to be more. I was supposed to somehow I was supposed to do all these different things. So I started taking Psycheme. I took 2 levels of Reiki. I took Psycheme all the way up to level 3. I did all these things, and then I was like, okay. I even channeled a whole healing modality, which was super cool, and none of it like felt like it was my jam.
Well, that's
And
like,
so,
you've got to learn that. But don't forget, I mean, you do some amazing guided meditations, and I think that's channeling energy and holding it for the group and spreading it so that everybody can feel it. Because I know when I get like meditations, I go really deep, and I think it is because if you're in touch with the energy like that, it really takes you in. You get right into it. That's where I think it kind of blends. So I'm not surprised actually to hear that you've been part of that.
I agree with that. So
Mhm.
I had to sit back and I had to take like a breath and be like, okay, hang on a second here. I don't need to be everything. I don't need to label everything, right? So I simply am a medium, and through my mediumship, I use energy and work with energy. Period. Hard stop. I don't do any weird symbols. I don't do anything. None of that resonated with me, and I know why. It was my humanness trying to push me into being everything and all in the spiritual world, when truthfully spiritualism is actually quite easy. And Harbinder is an excellent example of someone who leaned into what he felt came easy, right? And I say that not to say that the work isn't, he didn't put a lot of energy and time into it. That's not what I'm saying when I say this. It's more along the lines, I've watched him develop. Like, he's probably one of the few people I work with who I truly watch develop. And in that development, he listened to what was being given to him, and he was like, "Hi, Nina," and he was like, okay, I'm leaning into this because this feels like my right direction. This is what I'm aligned to now. And he's added all sorts of things to it, which is perfect for him. And now he's going back a little bit to that mediumship era. He's starting to let those messages come in easy. Harbinder, why do you think that is?
Well, because we all know that we vibrate, right? In the vibrations of the energy, the frequency, we're creating our own frequencies as well. And the best thing about us is that because of our third eye, the as we call it, it it helped us connect even more. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel that, and I sense that as well. And I know that the fact that, like, even like in Sedona, when I didn't feel the energy, and then I just said, okay, you know what? Just let me feel it. And I felt it.
Mhm.
And I felt that energy. And then after that, I say, okay, thanks. And then when I said thanks, it just disappeared. And then I'm going like, okay, what's going on? And then I realized that, oh my God, I was vibrating in that energy already. I'm in vibrating in that frequency already. That's why I'm not feeling anything, but I'm just enjoying the moment and where I am as it is. And the even Lynn confirmed it when I asked her about it, right? And then it's the way that we we start expressing ourselves as well, and because we are all individuals. That's the funny thing too. And the humanness of us is that we need to, how you call, label, like, oh,
Yeah,
you got
yeah.
Reiki, you got quantum, you got this, you got that. But all of us work in different ways. And you're right with that question that you may ask as well, is that um, all the energy, no matter what the modalities are, it's all coming up from source, like Mother Earth, universal energy, God's divine light energy, and wherever it is, it's coming. It's coming, and you're the one who's attracting it.
And it's, I'll just say this, and I'm going to ask you guys another question in a second. You know, I, for one, wasn't bothered that I didn't feel anything in the vortex. I'm not the person who goes in there and has any expectation whatsoever. So, and that's how I do all my work. I have no expectation. I turn on and off like a light. And hi, Jenny Boo. And I just go. So if I went into a vortex and I felt something, great. If I go in and I didn't feel anything, honestly, I didn't even notice because I was good. I
Yeah.
just take in what I take in. I was good with it. So let me ask you guys something here. Val, you go first. Do you think labels help people understand what we do, or do they sometimes limit how people perceive themselves?
It's a good question. I think probably that depends on the person that you're speaking to. Because if they've got an understanding, so if you were to say, "Oh yeah, I do Reiki," or "Oh, I read tarot," or if you're a medium or whatever, if somebody has an understanding of what that is, then perhaps that label's helpful. But then I guess the other way, I think I had a conversation with you a while back where I'd been someplace and I'd gone in to speak to, it was a metaphysical shop, and there was a lady in there who was doing readings. And it was frustrating because I do readings, I've done this kind of work for a long time as well. And I said to her, goes, okay, I said, so what do you do? And she couldn't tell me. And so from that point of view, she couldn't actually quantify what she was doing, what she could give me, or what, what she could, basically what she did. So I felt kind of put off. So I guess it depends on the person. If they could wrap it up, it's almost like that elevator pitch, isn't it? Like, in in one sentence, this is what I do, in kind of universal language that most people can understand. And if they want to know more, then they can ask questions. But yeah, labeling's a tough one. A lot of people, maybe they don't want to be put in the box. Maybe that's the problem, because they might think, oh, that's all I do. So it's just Reiki, or it's just this, or it's just that. But yeah, I think a little bit of description, not a label, a description is helpful, depending on the person that you're speaking to, if they've got that understanding. It's harder if you've met somebody and they've got absolutely no idea.
And that's very
You're
strange to
doing.
me. Like if I had walked into that situation, I mean, my face would say it all. I'd be like,
I didn't book her. I was like, no. I thought, no, I'll forget it.
well, and that brings all sorts of questions up too about, a lot of people. So let me say this, Harbinder, uh, this is open for a free for all, but a lot of people went from being tarot readers to intuitive readers, and then when mediumship became big, because let's be honest,
Mhm.
mediumship was not the jam 25 years ago. It was still cards and it was intuitive readings and psychic readings and everything. But the moment that mediumship became, a little bit more out there, everyone was a medium.
Because it's trendy, sort of thing. I
That's
did
right.
mediumship first. I started with Reiki,
Hmm.
and then, as I said, I was getting hits of like spirits and information and psychic stuff, which I got addicted. It was great fun, and I got really curious about it. So I continued with the energy work, knowing that they were getting some work done, but I just kind of fished around and got to learn stuff. Then I decided to, because I don't mean to say this, but you kind of get nosy, and you want to know what that kind of stuff is. And then I went down the mediumship route, and then from there I got into cards. I've always liked cards, but I didn't do official readings like when I was in Scotland. I started that in Edmonton more just before I came here to BC.
Okay.
So the actual, I've played with tarot, but the actual reading of tarot and having clients has only been the last few years. So I've kind of maybe done it backwards again. I don't know.
Well, I don't know if it's backwards. Can I say that to you? I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do it. I mean, what I'm thinking is we all start off with one modality that we feel really strong in, right? Or, thank you,
Curiosity.
we feel very interested in. We
Mhm.
feel like, okay, this one's calling to me. I feel like this.
Yeah.
And we start off in that. And through that growth and that curiosity and that development, we tend to hone the other abilities, for lack of a better word, and they start come to the forefront. And then we get to make a decision. Oh, you know what? I think I love this. I'm going this way. Right?
Yeah.
I think I love this. I'm going this way. For me, I was a medium to begin with, took some energy work, embodied that into the work I do unconsciously, just embodied it into the work I do. And now, who are you, Tara? What do you do? I am a medium. I'm an empowerment medium. My goal is to help people move positively forward. Period. Hard stop. That woman that you saw needs to come up with something like that. But,
Yeah,
but
no.
so I don't think there's a right or wrong. You agree, Harbinder?
Yeah, there's no right or wrong as well. And then it's funny how we become very judgmental as well. As a human being, we 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 kind of like how you want to say it, a bit stereotyping as well.
Yeah.
Like, oh, Ricky's better than this or that or whatever. And but not realizing the fact that all the teachers, even uh, Dr. Suyu of Reiki as well, they all kind of mention that basically the energy is coming from somewhere,
Mhm.
and then you're the channel, and you're receiving that energy and whatever you're connecting as well for mediumship too, and um, you know, it's all connected, right? As in, we are all one. We all been told that we're all one. We're all connected, and we always also talk about the chords, right? As well, that there's a connection between individuals and people who have been with you in previous life
Mm-hmm.
as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all learning from each other, which is funny, but yeah.
Years and years ago, I channeled a message from Source, and the channeled message went something like this. And I thought about it so much at the time, and then I've completely forgotten about it until literally Harbinder just brought this up. And the channeled message, I'm going to dig it out one day. The channel message went like this: everything you do is for you as a human.
Mhm.
You simply need to be open to the intention and allow it to flow through you. And when I asked for more, I was like, okay, I don't know what the heck that means. They literally showed me someone just standing there with their eyes closed and their arms open and their hands up. And what I got from that was all the things that we do to learn, right? Is because our humanness is not developed enough for us to just accept that we are a medium. We can work, manipulate energy. We can work like that. And
Mhm.
truthfully, all we have to do, truthfully, is be at your highest and best, putting forth intention that is only for the good. And that energy will flow through you. You don't need to do symbols. You don't need to, wave crystals around. You don't need to call in guides, or if you could just simply trust. And I don't know anyone. I mean, I'm close when it comes to mediumship. I'm just on and off like a light. But I don't know anyone that can wrap their heads around that without going into massive ego. But that's what I got. It was that simple. And it reminded me of Neville. Neville is a Sakim master. And I remember watching him, and he would just come into a room, and the person would just sit on an ordinary chair. The the sitter, and he would put a hand above on their crown and a hand at the base of their spine, and that's it. He didn't move, he didn't chant, he didn't do anything because he was the ultimate channel. He was the ultimate channel for that, and he still does it that way. Now, I'm going to say something else. Most people like to have the movement. I prefer touch. I feel like I receive more in my humanness if someone is working on me with touch, right? But then there's people like Harbinder, who is just such a, I can just feel the energy. So it works both ways. What do you guys think about that, though? That kind of channeled message that literally, yeah, Jenny says this is true. Labels can bring judgment and narrow-mindedness, for sure. But I want to hear you guys' opinion on that, with that channeled message. That idea that we don't need to do all of this extra, we don't need the crystals.
I agree.
We don't need the sage.
I
We don't
agree.
need the symbols.
That's more for the person. I mean, I think if somebody does want to do rituals and stuff, of course, I mean that's up to them. But I mean, I love my cards, I love my crystals and stuff like that, but I don't use them in ritual like that. If I'm doing psychic work or whatever, I just go straight in. And I hope I'm not speaking out of turn for my thing, but I don't use my guides in that sense. I like to do meditations and go talk to them. I'll do that regularly for myself. But if I'm giving messages for somebody else, I don't even, I mean, whether the information comes through them or whatever, that's fine, I don't mind. I don't see them, I don't ask them, I never ask them to step close, I don't do any of that, except if I'm working in a development circle and I'm following somebody else's exercise, and I'm happy to do that. But I have got a confession, when we do, hopefully nobody's listening that knows, but when we do things like that, I will start it off, then I go and play, I go and do my own thing. So when we're going into like a meditation, I'll just take that opportunity to go and chat with my guides, but not for what we're doing that day. I do that for myself. And then I'll just go on and do my exercise, whatever we need to do. So I'm the same as you. I don't actually bring that in. I don't do rituals and open, like with the symbols and stuff. I know what they are. I just don't use them for me. Yeah.
Yeah. Harbinder, anything you want to add?
Oh yeah, you know, the thing about energy work and our physical side of it as well, emotions and physical side are very connected. You know, for me, I feel, because it's like, remember I was saying about me winning the scratch and win on my birthday or whatever the case is. I had such a strong feeling emotionally, right? And then I'm saying that, yeah, it's gonna be. That's the second part of it. And then all of a sudden, when I scratched, of all the tickets I could have bought, I bought this $100 ticket. I mean, not say 100, a $30 ticket, and I won $100. So I still win $70. And I'm going like, yeah, thank you for my birthday present. There you go, done. You know, and it's we gotta practice. A lot of people don't realize that you need to practice. You need to sit and work on yourself. That's the main thing. You got to work on yourself more before you can basically expand to others as well around you, right? Because you know, people who, once you start working on yourself, then you'll see the ones that will stay and the ones that will go away, right?
That's
like
actually really
yeah,
true, Harbinder. Higher self-work. First thing in the
yeah,
first of the 4 pillars. Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
And it's just like a story of Anita Mojani, who had cancer, and then she came back from near-death experience, and then it's gone. And then all of a sudden, she was written a book, Dying to Be Me. So this is what I normally tell people who have cancer as well, to read a book or whatever, because it's very, I would say, inspiring. And she also, Sunny, said as well, all of a sudden there are people who will never understand what you're doing and what you represent for yourself, and then starts to go apart, and then you start attracting new other people, or maybe the same people who are vibrating in your same frequency starts coming, you know, realizing who you are and being better, you know, better friends, or better family, or whatever the case is, right? As our humanness in this planet Earth. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can kind of expand. That's why I concentrate a lot on. I know I talk about Tesla as in the numbers are 3, 6, and 9s, where the
Hmm.
numbers you change it around is the root chakra, the heart chakra, and the crown chakra. And I always concentrate on the heart as being the center. And yeah, well, Jesus also says about the Sacred Heart. So, everything is trifactor as well. Try. Remember you were saying try, mind, body, and soul. Yeah, that was so fascinating as well when we started talking, and then I saying that, and then you mentioned that you were doing the same thing too back then too. I was like, wow, okay, and I sometimes I really surprise myself as well, and I know that a lot of people as well can understand this too. Is that all of a sudden you think about something, and then all of a sudden it happens.
Synchronicity.
Yeah,
Hmm.
synchronicity and all that, right? Or like my wife, we're driving, and then all of a sudden I'm thinking, okay, I want to go for Mexican. Next thing my wife says, "Oh, let's go for Mexican." Oh, okay, yeah, all right. So there you go. That's what happens. Oh, that's my son. Sorry.
I can see that.
My
What are you doing?
my
Very funny. You're in my room. Shh. You're in my
bye.
Okay, let's bring
Yeah.
this to the final round. Before we wrap up, I'd love to ask each of you, just briefly, what's one thing you'd like people to remember about trusting themselves and their own connection? Just think about that for a moment.
I think it's
Can you
it's
say that
trust.
again?
Go ahead.
No, no. Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah,
I was
sure.
just thinking.
Oh, you got flustered. What's one thing you'd like people to remember about trusting themselves and their own connection?
It's when something, for me anyway, it's when something comes, it can be so faint that you think, oh, I just made that up. Oh, it's not real. But I think it's just to trust and go with it. And it's in the minute, for me, I find the minute I pick up on that and I go with it, more comes. It opens things up. You get more solid. Because I always describe it like a wisp of smoke. Sometimes I'll pick up things and it's ever so faint and it's streaming really slowly past. And I feel like I'm just like plucking a bit of information. And as soon as I pluck it, it becomes more solid because I'm putting attention on it and I'm trusting it and I go with it. And sometimes it might sound crazy and you think that can't be right, I'm making it up, but you just go with it. And before you know it, it actually develops and becomes stronger, especially if you're working with somebody and you get a lot more. But it's just that initial, no, no, that can't be right. But it is. So just go with it. Just run with it, is what I say.
Agreed. Agreed. I couldn't say it any better. If you can just trust, you have the capability. You're 90% of the way there. Harbinder,
Yeah, I got this thing that I put on the glass door, and I think I mentioned it on it. Is I am loving awareness, and I'm always aware of what is going on around me, even if it's not you don't even notice it as well at the moment or whatever the case is, but it's there, and you gotta. And I think the main thing is that um, don't underestimate yourself. Do not judge yourself. Judge yourself to the extreme. That maybe the best thing to say is that um, believe in the fact that you are way more powerful, right, than you think. And I think that's what Canon Dolores as well mentioned as well. She said that too. That we are way far more powerful than you think, but we limit ourselves. That's the problem. And then
I
just try, like what you're saying is trusting as well. That plays a part as well. And I think just being aware and feeling and sensing as you go along, you start to develop um, that knowingness as well.
I
Yeah.
think saying it out loud as well, because sometimes when
Mm.
we hold things in and we don't trust, but if you say it out loud, I think it gives it a little bit more power because something might happen or you might have realized something, but if you haven't said it and then you're sitting there going, I knew that, I got that, or write it down, a journal, that kind of thing. A journal's quite good because you can see a pattern and you can see
yes.
it's not about hits or misses, it's not that, it's just about watching how types of information comes to you or when it comes to you, it's that how are you feeling, that kind of thing. But yes, saying it out loud, because that's the hard part is when you get something is for the first few times saying it because you feel foolish, you feel, you're saying something that you're making up, but saying it out loud and then you're believing it and then just writing it down as well, like tracking it.
Yeah.
Or even saying like, okay, what do I need to know? right? Show me,
Mm-hmm.
right? But don't. The best thing is that don't expect it, right? Because it'll come in different ways. It can come on the radio. It can come with someone who says something, or you read an article or something like that. But yeah, um, I've I found that if I don't, uh, expect
Force
it,
it.
it just
Don't
pops.
force it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't
Just
force
let
it.
it
Yeah,
be.
don't expect
That's
it.
what I
Don't
was
force
talking
it.
about
It is.
last night with the signs and
Yeah.
synchronicities. Exactly that. Just it's amazing how information comes through like that. Just when you least expect it. You know, it's
Yeah.
very the synchronicities that come in. Hmm.
And
Okay,
you know
guys.
what? When you don't expect it, it's so funny. Then you go like, "Oh my God!" You're going like, "What
More
the heck?"
impactful, more meaningful.
Yeah, you're going like, "Oh wow, I did that."
Well, and
Did
the
I
other
do
thing I'm going to say
that?
really quickly, because we have to bring this to a
Right.
close, but the other thing I was going to say about that is like the more that you do that, don't have the expectation, the less you're shocked by when something happens, and it becomes like, okay, that's cool, thanks. It's
Yeah,
not like,
less
oh,
resistant.
I did this. We
Yeah.
we only use 9% of our brains for the love of the goddess, so
Um,
you know we should be like being letting this become second nature to us. So before we get into another tangent here, let's go. Val, you have another session coming up as part
I
of the
do.
Embodied Power series,
I do.
June 25th, 7:30 Pacific Standard Time in
Right.
Empowering Intuitive Souls. Come and register, guys. You can still go back and see everything from June. It's called The Message Beneath the Fur, a
That's right.
gentle belly rub on how insight reveals itself piece by piece. You need to tell
Yeah.
us what the heck that means, girlfriend.
So forgive the cat language. The witch is familiar. I love the little cat sort of thing. But basically, under the fur, it's how messages are hidden and how do you coax them out. So if you're rubbing the cat's belly, little by little, things are coming out, and it's kind of a little bit like what you were talking about earlier, Harbinder, sorry, about how synchronicity, yes, but just how the information comes to you gradually, like that wisp of smoke, and how you grab onto it. And sometimes information it comes in sideways, you don't expect it, and you just think, what, how did that happen, and what did that mean? And then you get some insight. So yeah, it's just about like uncovering those little nuggets and going for it. That's what I'm going to be talking about next week.
Excellent. Harbinder, your next healing session is coming up on June 28th. I cannot remember the time for love or money, but do you want to tell people what you're going to be doing?
Oh well, there's another session as well tomorrow because I'm doing once a week or whatever the case is.
Okay,
Tomorrow
great
morning
stuff.
at eight
Sorry about
thirty as
that.
well. Yeah, 8:30 tomorrow morning as well.
Ooh, great and
So
squirrely.
yeah,
I'm going to do it while I'm walking the dogs.
ooh, yeah, wake you up. Lucky it wasn't 4 o'clock in the morning. Anyway, or God's time, 3 and 4. Anyway, um, so I'm gonna be talking about a bit of energy, the different types of energy as well, and then get into a healing session as well. And then on that on the 28th, the Sunday, yeah, it will be a healing session for the closing, as I
Oh,
would
I
call it.
love that. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
nice.
you. And the dogs are going to get a healing tomorrow, and
Yeah.
it's going to be
So
fabulous. Okay, guys, again, I'm always so appreciative, but I loved having both of you on. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your experiences tonight. Thank you to everyone who joined us and stayed with us, and to everyone that's going to watch this as a replay. If you've been enjoying the Embodied Power series and you're looking for a place to continue developing your intuition, your confidence, your spiritual connection, your personal empowerment, I'm going to invite you to come and check out the Spirit Essence membership. Whether you're brand new to this work or you've been walking this path for years, there is a space for you. You're going to find development circles, workshops, meditations, mentorship opportunities, and a community of people like the collective who are committed to growing into the fullest versions of themselves. And the collective already has. It's just beautiful. You can find all that information through Spirit Essence by Tara Diana. So, until next time, my friends, remember to stay curious, stay open, stay empowered, and stay divine. We'll see you next time for another episode of The Spiritual View. Thank you, Val. Thank you, Harbinder.
Thank you. Thanks for
thank
having
you.
us.
Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
everyone.